Shabbat shalom, everyone. So
Shabbat
wonderful to
shalom.
be together this evening. Don, so good to see you.
Great to be with you too, boy. Beautiful.
I don't know about all of you out there joining us tonight on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube Live, on our website, but it's definitely been quite a week from the still tenuous ceasefire and aftermath of all that happened in the Middle East last week, spilling into this week. Certainly rising demonstrations of anti-Semitism right here at home in our own neighborhoods and across our country, across the world. More gun violence in our state yesterday. One of those weeks where, again, I don't know about you, but I certainly could use Shabbat. I certainly could use a bit of a respite, a bit of a break from all of it. And that's exactly what Shabbat's supposed to be every week. And traditionally, the Kabbalists, the ancient mystics from Sfat in the north of Israel, created the service of Kabbalat Shabbat, sort of the prequel, as it were, to the Shabbat evening service. That traditionally we recite a series of psalms, one corresponding to each of the days of the week that precedes Shabbat. We're meant to review our week, to think about the days of our week as we move into Shabbat, to think about what we want to carry with us into Shabbat and into the week ahead, and also to think about what we want to let go of, what we want to forget, what we want to leave behind. And so before we sing these beautiful words of Shalom Aleichem, which welcome our Shabbat angels, I invite us all just to take just a moment or two in silence. Close your eyes if you want, and think back over this past week. Think back, if you can, day by day. Think about that which you want to hold on to, carry with you into Shabbat, into the week ahead, and that which we all are more than happy to let go of, to leave behind.
Let's make that peaceful transition now as we embrace the angels of peace. Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruchuni L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzidichem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, הקדוש ברוך הוא, הקדוש ברוך הוא. And now another beautiful poem, this one written by one of the Kabbalists in the 16th century, Moshe Hazir Aklili, from around 1600. The poem is Yedid Nefesh. We were just welcomed by the angels of Shabbat. Now we pour our hearts out to God to greet us and wrap us in God's arms. Yedid Nefesh. Yedid Nefesh av harachaman, av harachaman, mishoch avdecha el ritzonecha, el ritzonecha. Av harachaman, av harachaman, mishoch avdecha el ritzonecha, el ritzonecha. Yarutz avdecha כמו היער ישתחווה אל מול עדריך. ירוץ עבדך כמו היער ישתחווה אל מול עדריך. ידיד נפש אב הרחמן, אב הרחמן, משוך עבדך אל רצונך, אל רצונך.
So beautiful.
Thank you.
No better way to welcome Shabbat than with that beautiful melody and those beautiful words of poetry. We also welcome Shabbat with Shabbat Light, with the lighting of our Shabbat candles. And it's wonderful this evening. We have the Corona family as well as the Berman family joining us. Zach as well as Robin, both becoming B'nai Mitzvah tomorrow. So hopefully Zach, I know Zach was having a little bit of trouble getting in, but hopefully he's able to as well. Mm-hmm. And we'll light our Shabbat candles. We'll make Kiddush and Motzi together.
You have a big task there, Robin. Huh? All right, let's light those candles. And we'll join in the blessing together in just a moment. Beautiful. We bring the light of Shabbat in, and we join together. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher shanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק נר של Shabbat. Thank you for joining me, Robin. It was beautiful. And now we'll hold up our Kiddush cup and we'll join together in Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'vratzavanu ושבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו נתמרון למעשה וראשית כי הוא יום תחילה למקרא קודש זכר יציאת מצרים קיוונו וחמת אותנו קידשת מכל העמים בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו ברוך אתה מקדש השבת. Amen. L'chaim. Sip that wine you have in that cup, Robin.
L'chaim.
L'chaim.
Well, we'll continue with Kabbalat Shabbat with the words of
L'chaim.
Oh, we have to make motzi. How could I forget?
Robin,
did you bake a challah today, Don? Did you bake a challah today?
My best friend did and sent it from New York.
Wow. Well,
nothing better than that. Let's join in.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Now we'll turn to the words of Lachadodi as we conclude Kabbalat Shabbat. Lachadodi, the ancient acrostic poem written by Shlomo Halevi Alkabetz that imagines that on Friday evening as the sun sets, that Shabbat arrives into our world, into our lives, in much the way that a bride arrives at a wedding with that bit of majesty, that bit of magic. And so we'll join together in the words of Lachadodi, and if you're so inclined at home to rise when we reach the final verse, Boi Kala, and we turn and face the doors to our home as if that Shabbat bride is entering our homes and our families to celebrate Shabbat.
We'll keep that Hasidic style and joy going here. לחדלתי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. 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 שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, בשם ותפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה. מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורי קומי אורי. אורי, אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
We rise now for Baruch.
We take a moment to prepare ourselves for this new beginning into our Shabbat prayers. Baruch hu et Adonai We join in Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Vaed. We'll ask everyone to now join us in the continuation of the Shema, the V'ahavta. We hope our B'nai Mitzvah students are listening still, and will chant with us now the V'ahavta. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני, אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני, אדוני אלוהיכם.
So before everyone came on, before we went live, when I joined the Zoom tonight, I got to hear Cantor Gurney rehearsing a few bars of a new melody, at least new to me, and I think new to most of us, for Micha Mocha, that we're gonna join together in just a minute. Don, do you want to tell us something about this melody? Anything to share?
I will tell you, the composer is an Israeli. His name is Oram Eldor, and I became aware of the music. A colleague of mine, Cantor Ozzy Schwartz, who's the Chazan at Park Avenue Synagogue in New York, commissioned this piece and shared it with me. And I loved it. It's an engaging melody. It's a spirited melody that fits Micha Mocha, the text. And it's also very contemporary sounding. And I did have the idea of, in the middle of it, to have a cool guitar solo. And as you'll hear in a few moments, it is an
You didn't ask me to get my guitar.
Next time. I didn't want to surprise you, right? But the guitarist here happens to be, his name is Hank Easton, and his sister, Hope Easton, has been our amazing cellist at Wilshire Boulevard Temple for many years. Of course, they're both from Cleveland, and we all went to the same high school once upon a time, Cleveland Heights High School. Hank is a brilliant guitarist, and he is the soloist on this rendition, this recording. So enjoy, and enjoy particular this fantastic guitar solo. Micha Mochaba, Oran Eldor. Micha Mochab Be'elim Adonai, Micha Mochab Nedar, Micha Mochab Nedar, Nurati Lot Osei Felle, Osei Felle, Nurati Lot Osei Felle, Osei Felle, Osei Felle, Osei Felle, Malchutcha uvanecha, Hokei hayam lifnei Moshe uMiriam, Ze Eli, Ze Eli, Ze Eli, Anu ve'Amu. Adonai Imloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai Imloch le'olam va'ed, Micha Mochach Ba'elim Adonai, Micha Mochach Ba'elim, Micha Mochach Nedar B'Kodesh, Micha Mochach Nedar B'Kodesh.
In just a moment, we'll join together in the words of Hashkivenu, a prayer that traditionally we say every single evening, asking God to quite literally remove evil from before us so that we may lie down in peace and rise up to a life renewed the next morning. And as I mentioned at the very beginning of the service, I think maybe this Shabbat more than most, that Sukkot Shalom, that shelter of peace, is something that we really do hope to be spread over us, over all those we love, over the land of Israel, over the United States of America, and all the corners of the world that could so desperately need a bit of peace on this Shabbat.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Pros aleinu sukat shlomecha, pros עלינו סוכת שלומך. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 Amen.
We come to the Amidah, to the central piece of our Erev Shabbat service this evening, and tonight we're going to engage in our Amidah silently. A few moments for each of us to turn inward, to reflect, either using the words on the pages of a prayer book if you have one handy, or the words of our hearts.
Yigul ratzonim refi, Yigul ratzonim refi, Ve'yo libi lefanecha, Adonai tzuri v'govali. May the words of my mouth, the meditation of my heart, be acceptable before you, O Lord, my rock and my redeemer. Oseh shalom bimromah, v'yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, Amen.
We take a moment amidst our joy and our celebration on this Shabbat to think of loved ones, family members, members of our community who are in need of wholeness, in need of healing. And in just a moment, we'll offer a Mishaberach, a prayer of healing for them. So if you're thinking of someone tonight who could use a bit of wholeness, a bit of healing, I invite you to call their name to mind now, to hold them in your heart now, as together we offer these healing words of Mishaberach.
Mishaberach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Re'imotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Again, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I know that many of us miss our beautiful sanctuary as much as I do. I was at the Glazer campus earlier this week, and every time I'm there, regardless of what I'm doing, I always take a minute to walk into the sanctuary. I've done this every single day for more than a decade. And when I wandered into the sanctuary earlier this week, it was empty. It was dark. The lights were off. And as is often the case around midday, mid-afternoon, the light streaming through the stained glass windows on the western side of the building. And there's an incredible beauty and silence in the room. It never ceases to amaze me how, despite traffic rushing by just outside those 20-foot teak wood doors on Wilshire Boulevard, it's silent in there. And I glanced up toward the bima and saw those two large golden menorot with the sort of bluish light of the stained glass windows bouncing off the polished gold. Those two menorahs are actually modeled after the menorahs that stood in the temple in Jerusalem 2 millennia ago. And this week's Torah portion, the parasha we read on this Shabbat, begins with God's instructions to Aaron about exactly how to light these menorahs. In case you're interested, in the sanctuary, we have little candles. And so prior to the service, prior to anybody coming in, one of the talented members of our facilities crew gets up on a little stepladder and lights each of them. If you really want to go down the rabbit hole, originally in 1929, they were actually gas powered, but we changed that for safety reasons. But the rabbis in their commentary, they wonder exactly what the menorahs that stood in the temple were for. They wondered whether the light from the menorahs was for God or for the people. And after going back and forth about it for some time, they ultimately come to the conclusion, the realization that the light was meant to shine out in front of the menorahs so that it would shine onto the people. They conclude that the light is not for God. The light is for us. They imagine God explaining to Aaron, it's not that I require light, that I'm reminding you about the menorah. It is so that you may have light. The light isn't for God. The light is for us. So this little vignette that the rabbis imagine highlights this inherent tension in Judaism. Perhaps in religion in general. Does religion exist to serve God's needs or our needs? I'll pick on my father for just a second. Hopefully he's not watching tonight, who often refers to himself as an atheist, although he's not actually. He's more likely an agnostic. But he is fond of asking me if I think God listens when I pray. And I frequently respond to him by saying, I think it's the wrong question. I think it's the wrong question because I don't pray for God. I pray for me. I don't pray for God. I pray for my benefit. Prayer isn't meant to change God. Prayer is meant to change us. As heretical as it may sound, Judaism is not about devoting our lives to God. It is about bringing God into our lives. It's about transforming our lives into rich and meaningful lives, lives filled with purpose and joy, and lives filled with light, with the light of that menorah that shines so brightly on our bima and shone so brightly 2,000 years ago, the temple in Jerusalem. So on this Shabbat, may we all bring a little bit of that light to illumine the darkness in our world that so desperately needs it. Shabbat Shalom. Just a few brief announcements before we begin to conclude this evening. Next Friday night, a week from tonight, we have a very special Shabbat service and celebration. It's our inaugural, our very first Shabbat as one big, large, merged community. Wilshire Boulevard Temple and University Synagogue families all together with all of the clergy that you know and love and a few surprises. We're calling it Shehechianu Shabbat, the Shehechianu, that blessing that thanks God for sustaining us and enabling us to reach the most precious moments in life. And absolutely, this new beginning is one of those moments. And so please, I hope you'll join us next week for Shehechianu Shabbat, Friday at 6 o'clock. It will be incredibly special, I promise. In addition, I encourage you, if you don't already, to check out the daily and weekly emails from the temple. They have schedules for all of our services, all of our class offerings. And again, now that the merger is complete, we have programs from University Synagogue, things like Torah Yoga with Cantor Shapiro, Saturday morning Hebrew Torah with Rabbi Stan Davids. So university folks, former university folks are getting to see all the wonderful things that have historically happened at Wilshire, and historically Wilshire folks are getting to see all the amazing things that are happening, at university. And really, please pay attention to those emails. If you don't get those emails, if you're not always sure what's going on, follow us on social media, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. It's the best way to be sure and kept aware of all that's going on. Last but not least, a very special thank you to our Director of Communications, Don Levy, and his whole team, everybody who's behind the cameras. You get to see me, you get to see Cantor Gurney, and that's great. But the truth is, there's a lot of people working really hard to make us look and sound good each and every week, each and every day, who you don't see and don't know. And we wouldn't be here without them. So thank you so much to everybody, Ariel and Tess and Jess and Don and everybody who I'm leaving out. But thank you all so much. I know I said last but not least, but one more thing, yes. One more quick plug, shameless plug here on Shabbat, which is to say that if you're joining us tonight, if you enjoy the service, if you're enjoying classes that we do, and you're not yet a member of the Wilshire Boulevard Temple family, please consider joining us and being an official part of the family. We would love to have you. All right. With that,
Beau, one last thing, because
please, Don, please.
A reward for those who are watching tonight. That on Friday, the week after Shehechianu Shabbat, Friday, June 11th, at the Urban campus.
Yes.
We will be having, everyone listen carefully, our first in person Friday night service at the Irma's campus. It'll be outdoors, of course, which we normally do each and every summer.
I'm going to say outdoors, not because of COVID for once, but outdoors because that's what we always do from Memorial Day to Labor Day.
Exactly right. Live and in person. I will be there along with Rabbi Nanas and our musicians. You'll see the notice going up, from the temple, and
Sunday, I think.
Right. And because there are, limitations how many people, it will be first come, first serve registration, not showing up, first come, first serve, but you have to register for it. So yes, watch your email Sunday. We're all so excited to be back in person with one another.
Amen. Amen. Not that I don't love seeing you in your dining room, Don.
Well, I would love to see me not in my dining room.
Just gonna say it's a beautiful dining room and a beautiful break front, but I'm a little sick of it at this point. Right. Shifting gears a little bit, we will turn our thoughts to sacred moments of memory and moments of Kaddish, as we recall loved ones and family members of our community who are no longer with us. We begin by thinking of those for whom we're in a period of shloshim, those who have died during these past 30 days, as we call to mind Eli Brode, Rabbi Morley Feinstein, Len Foreman, Elaine Goldsmith, Marjorie Gould, Gary Kelson, Carol Grace Salinas, and Don Schwartz. We add to their names the names of those whose yahrzeits occurred during this past week: Candice Abel, Estelle Alt, Henry Baker, Sharon Baker, Randy Bank, Matthew Bergen, Tilly Berlin, Louis Berger, Marilyn Blank, Sarah Bloom, Suzanne Botansky, Kate Bright, Bernard Brown Jr., Jacob Brown, Catherine Cardinal, Sidney Chersky, Charles Kohler, Martin Coleman, Rosalind Danziger, Sally Dickman, Jack Epstein, Erica Fallick, Eileen Fine, Joseph Feinstein, Cecilia Firestein, Julius Feiertag, Regina Fisher, Julius Fliegelman, Harriet Freilich, Sherma Frank, Solomon Friedman, Jennifer Friedman Chalk, Joel Friedman, Sybil Frischling, Norman Gallup, Samuel Geary, Rochelle Ginsburg, Stephen Glassgall, Malcolm Glazer, Phyllis Goodman, Sarah Ann Gordon, Evelyn Green, Mort Green, Ann Grossman, Samuel Goober, Leo Guthman, Andy Harris, Andrea Lynn Hattenbach, Stanley Heisler, Leah Holtz, Sam Horn, Louis Jackson, Max Kay, Jeanette Kerner, Irving Kolpas, Samuel Corwin, Samuel Korn, Mike Krulwich, Mike Krulwich, Mike Lackman, Ernst Leiser, Hy Leonard, Harry Levine, Philip Levine, Seymour Levine, David Lewis, David Madnick, Edith Marcus, Yvonne Nash, Ben Nitzberg, Rosara Orr, Donald Optican, Netta Oringel, Seal Ostro, Mitzi Pollock, Wilma Paschal, Anthony Perlman, Helen Wildman Pollock, Toby Rawson, Lois Rollman, Julie Rose Ralston, Harry Rosen, Harriet Rosenthal, Rose Ruderman, Frank Schiller, Esther Schulman, Diane Schwartz, Rose Schwartz, Lena Schway, Israel Sinetsky, Sally Shadlin, Michael Shapiro, Morris Shapiro, Jeanette Sherman, Leslie Shohan, Clara Siegel, Nancy Siegel, Sydney Siegel, Alfred Silver, Ralph Skulth, Essie Sloan, Bess Soul, Harry Spurtis, Arlene Stone, Stan Toshman, Saul Tivoli, Shirley Lee Tuck, Susan Tuck, Elsie Ullman, Sylvia Visco, Margit Weisberg, Harold Weisfeld, Philip White, Stuart Wine, Lloyd Winthrop, Enrika Yu, Sam Selkowitz, and Constance Zola. We add to their names the names of those to whom we are grateful but do not know, those who have fallen defending the flags of the United States of America, the State of Israel, all the innocent victims of senseless terrorism and violence all over the world, and everyone who has no one to say Kaddish for them. Zichronam livracha, may their memories always be for a blessing. We join together in Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba, ve'alma divrach chirutei ve'yamlich malchutei, ve'chaye echon v'yom echon v'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kari v'imru. Amen. Yehi shemei Rabba mevarach le'alam u'lalmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh, v'tadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudsha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiram be'alma ve'imru. Amen. Yehi shalama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru. Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mruma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom b'mruma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom b'mruma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'oko Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'oko Yisrael. Oseh shalom b'mruma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Shalom b'mruma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom b'mruma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'oko Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'oko Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'oko Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'oko Yisrael v'imru. Amen.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the holiday.
Shabbat shalom.